world filled with pain and hardship, we all wrestle with one fundamental question. Why do we suffer? Today, let's explore what the Bible teaches us about handling life's toughest moments. You know, when I first started studying the Bible's perspective on suffering, I was struck by something profound. The Bible doesn't shy away from suffering. It embraces it as part of our human story. Just think about Job, a man who lost everything but never lost his faith. Or consider David, who wrote countless psalms crying out to God in his darkest hours. But here's what's really fascinating. The Bible doesn't just tell us to endure suffering. It shows us how to grow through it. Look at James 1:2-4, where it says to count it all joy when you face trials. Now, that might sound crazy at first. Joy in suffering, but there's deep wisdom there. The Bible teaches us that suffering serves multiple purposes. First, it can refine us like gold in a furnace. Think about how a diamond is formed under intense pressure. Similarly, our character is often shaped through our hardest moments. Second, suffering can draw us closer to God. When everything else is stripped away, we often find our deepest connection with our Creator. Remember Paul's words about his thorn in the flesh. Through his weakness, he found God's strength. But here's the practical part. How do we actually handle suffering? The Bible gives us several strategies. First, we're encouraged to pray honestly. Look at the Psalms. They're full of raw, honest emotions. God can handle our questions, our anger, our pain. Second, we're called to lean on community. The early church shared each other's burdens. We weren't meant to suffer alone. Third, we're reminded to keep an eternal perspective. As Paul said, our present sufferings aren't worth comparing to the glory that will be revealed. Perhaps most importantly, the Bible reminds us that we have a God who understands suffering personally. Jesus himself experienced the depths of human pain. He wept, he felt betrayal, he knew physical and emotional agony. Here's the beautiful twist. The Bible promises that our suffering isn't meaningless. Romans 8:28 tells us that God works all things together for good for those who love him. Even our darkest moments can serve a greater purpose. So next time you're facing hardship, remember, you're not alone, your pain has purpose, and there's hope beyond the suffering. This isn't just positive thinking, it's the profound truth that has sustained believers through the centuries. What challenge are you facing today? How might these biblical principles change your perspective on your current struggles? Remember, sometimes the deepest growth happens in our darkest valleys. Hey there, today, let's talk about something we all face. You know those moments when life throws curveballs at you, and you're just standing there thinking, what now? Well, the Bible actually offers some amazing wisdom on handling these situations. First, let me share something powerful from Philippians 4:6-7. It tells us don't worry about anything. Instead, pray about everything. Sounds simple, right? But it's actually profound. It's like having a direct line to the ultimate problem solver. Think about it this way. When your phone's acting up, you call tech support. When your car breaks down, you call a mechanic. The Bible suggests that when life gets tough, we should call on God first. Not as a last resort, but as our first move. Here's a practical example. Let's say you're facing a difficult decision at work, or maybe a relationship is struggling. The Bible teaches us to approach these situations with prayer, yes, but also with patience and wisdom. James 1:5 tells us that if we need wisdom, we should ask God, who gives generously to everyone without finding fault. But here's the interesting part. The Bible doesn't promise that our problems will magically disappear. Instead, it promises something better. Peace in the midst of problems. It's like being in the eye of a storm. Chaos all around, but you're standing in perfect calm. You know what's really cool? The Bible also encourages us to seek counsel from wise people. Proverbs 15:22 says, plans fail for lack of counsel, but with many advisors, they succeed. So while we're praying and seeking God's guidance, we can also reach out to mentors, trusted friends, or spiritual leaders. And let's talk about perspective for a moment. Romans 8:28 reminds us that God works all things together for good for those who love him. This doesn't mean everything that happens is good, but that God can use any situation, even the tough ones, for our growth and benefit. Finally, remember this. Problems are temporary, but the lessons we learn from them can last a lifetime. The Bible teaches us to view challenges not just as obstacles, but as opportunities. Opportunities to grow stronger, wiser, and closer to God. So next time you're facing a problem, remember, take it to God first. Seek wisdom, gather good counsel, maintain perspective, and trust in the process. Your problems might not disappear instantly, but you'll find yourself better equipped to handle whatever comes your way.